Advocates in Action Rhode Island presents the 2025 statewide self-advocacy conference workshop session, Options for Support with Making Decisions. Presented by Crystal Cerullo, Taylor Dorsey, Nick Fartura, and Bethany Hogan.
Hey everyone, can you guys see us?
Yes.
We're kind of tiny, I know, sorry. So we'll give it a couple minutes for more folks to join. And you, hopefully you are picked the right breakout, but we are doing options for support with decision making.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about different options and people that can support you with decision making. Yeah, so let's give it a couple minutes and then we'll.
There is everyone.
So our agenda. So we're going to start with introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about self-determination, and then we're going to talk about support with decision-making, the whole reason why you're here, and then go over some resources. So first, I just want to introduce the Paul B. Sherlock Center on Disabilities. So we are Rhode Island's University Center of Excellence on Developmental Disabilities, or as we like to use acronyms, it's a UCED. Our mission is to promote membership for all in school, work, and community. And we do a lot of research, we provide education, we do trainings, and we provide like resources and connect families and individuals to services and to whatever resources that they need. That is our new logo, the little lighthouse. So introduction. So we just thought, since it's not a ton of us, if you could share what is your connection to the disability community as a personal or professional, and you can throw it in the chat. And maybe like, why did you choose this presentation? If you want to raise your hand and come off chat and just tell us, you can do that. We'd love to hear from you guys. And I can start with myself to, start the icebreaker. So my name is Crystal Cerullo. I'm an individual and family support specialist at the Sherlock Center, but I actually started out as a direct support professional or a DSP in the field, working one-on-one with individuals. And I did that for a long time. And then I worked at various agencies after that until I ended up here at the Sherlock Center. And I'm going on just about 4 years this year being here. And I also have a young son, 4 years old, Angelo. He was actually in some of the pictures that we had in that in the song. I think he was looking watermelon, so to give you reference on who it was. He's 4 years old and he has Down syndrome. So that's just why this work just means more to me than it even did before professionally. So I have a personal and a professional tie now. And I think we did get some people in the chat. We have personal and professional. Awesome. And she said, I'm lucky to be Nick's mom and she works at Ripen. Awesome. Thank you guys. Bethany, do you want to give your introduction of who you are and what brings you here?
So my name is Bethany Hogan. Like Crystal, I work here at the Sherlock Center. And in my previous life before children, I used to be an English teacher, high school and middle school. And I am the mom of 2 sons, both of whom have a variety of disabilities, including intellectual disabilities. So I also have a professional and personal tie to this world. And my boys are, what brought me to this work.
All right. So Nick, I know you're going to talk more later, but do you want to just say who you are so people know?
Yes, my name is Nick Fartura. I work at Roger Williams University in Bristol, Rhode Island. Been there for almost 5 years now.
Awesome. All right, cool. And so Nick will share a little more later too, when he talks. So
my name is Alex Hubbard. I'm recording this session. I've been getting services since 2017 or so, and I have interest in trying to get a job in this field one day.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you for joining us. And we did get one
Glad to be
more
here.
in the chat. Tammy said that she's an independent facilitator and a mom of a son with autism, and she's also known Nick since he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
He did share that as well. And then Michael did share that he has a connection with his friends from the OC and RHD. And he joined it because he thinks that this is important. So thank you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
And it's personal from Michael. So yes, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm an individual and family support specialist at the Sherlock Center. And today during the presentation, I'm going to be facilitating. So if you have any questions or you want to throw something in the chat, I'll be keeping an eye on it so that we can ask Bethany, Crystal, and Nick your questions. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
Anybody else want to do a brief introduction or just say why you chose this? All right. Okay, I think we're done.
Okay. So when we talk about decision making, we like to start with the concept of self-determination. And the core principles of self-determination are autonomy, self-advocacy, inclusion, and support systems. So just a really brief kind of overview of those four kind of pillars. Autonomy is the ability to make decisions about your own life, such as where you want to live, who you want to be friends with, and what kind of career you'd like to choose. Self-advocacy, of course, people have the right to express their own needs, wants, and choices. Inclusion ensures that people with IDD can participate in community life on equal footing, promoting social and community involvement. And finally, support systems, where we recognize that some individuals might need different levels of support than other individuals in exercising their self-determination. So when we talk about self-determination as a concept, it's a combination of abilities and attitudes developed over a period of time that lead people to have control over their own lives. It's having a say in important decisions, and it requires the teaching of skills so that individuals can practice them in natural environments. And we start that really young, right? When children are babies, we start with decision making and choices and, do you want, what do you want for a snack? Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the red shirt, right? Right from when they're very, very little, we start that decision making process.
Very generic as well, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And yeah, I do. Even with my son, he's mainly nonverbal, but he can point and he can make gestures. So anytime we can kind of give him options to be able to make choices and learn how to make choices, I think it's important, as Bethany said, to start really young with trying to enrich those skills.
Right, because we know that if a child never has any control over choices and what goes on in his daily life, the day that he turns 18, it's not going to magically be a skill that he has, right? So we need to start fostering that when they're very little. So why is it important? We know that individuals with IDD have more control over their lives and they experience greater satisfaction, independence, and well-being. And we also know that it's empowering. It empowers individuals to be active participants in their own lives rather than someone making all of their decisions for them. Want to add to that?
And the only thing I was going to say, because we did use an acronym during that.
Oh, we did?
The ID. So
sorry, yes.
Intellectual disability. And if we ever say DD, it means developmental disability. So just wanted to make sure that we didn't use acronyms and not say what they are. So if we do that and you don't know a word that we said, or we used an acronym and we didn't say what it was, please raise your hand or put it in the chat. We will definitely go back and say what it is.
Yes, please don't let me use acronyms. I'm awful. Sorry. And so these are the four skills of self-determination: choice making, decision making, problem solving, and goal setting. And as we kind of already touched on, these are skills that need to be taught, right? We are not born with the capacity to do these things. So they're skills that we start when they're very, very little. As Crystal said, her son is able to tell her what he wants, in terms of choices, and he's able to communicate that in his own way. I know that when my sons were little, we used a lot of gestures, and then as they got older, we used some sign language. But even from the time that they were babies, they either smiled or cried. They let me know exactly, what made them happy and what did not make them happy. And that goes right along with choice making and decision making. Problem solving is another one, just again, right from the time that they're babies and they're taking those blocks and they're fitting them into the right holes, the right shaped holes in that toy, that's problem solving skills. And so teaching people to intentionally use these types of skills is really key in ensuring that as we get older, that we're able to make bigger and more complex decisions.
Yes. And it's not true.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's gonna work.
Oh, our video is not working. Oh, here we
it is
go.
gonna
Yay.
work. Make
Ellie
it
has
full
a
screen.
question.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
What do you do if you have somebody who does not speak and cannot problem solve with
That's okay.
without communicating?
Yeah, so I think as we're trying to talk about, so I think everyone has some way that they can communicate choices or make decisions, and maybe sometimes that's not done verbally. So even if it's done you know, with gestures, or it's done with, you know, some people you know, will scream if they're unhappy, or there's some type of behavior that they'll have when you know that they don't like something, or they'll be smiling when they do. And there's also argumentative alternative communication devices, or AAC. So my son does have a tablet that he uses to help with speaking as well. There's also sign language. So I think there's ways to make sure people have access to be able to communicate that. So then I think the first key is to be able to make those choices, and then you can kind of move up to building the skills of problem solving, because you have to first be able to make choices and make decisions and have a way to be able to facilitate that communication, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. And then you can kind of build up to the skills of trying to learn to do problem solving and the goal setting. But yes, I think that can be a challenge, and I think it's all skills that we have to learn. And then there's a lot of examples of how you can help teach those skills. So we could always, if you ever want to reach out to us, our contact's going to be on the last slide. We could definitely like talk more and maybe provide some resources on how to maybe build some of those skills. If that would be helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure. Any other questions before we show the video? It's a short video, it's only a few minutes, but we just feel like it kind of gets us into the next topic. Okay.
Alexander has a question.
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Thank you very much. Even as an adult, I struggle with confidence and decision making. Sort of like my issue is I always want people to tell me what to do, and that's not really how life works. So my question, I guess, is if you haven't really quite reached adulthood properly in terms of practice making your own decisions, is there anything, if anything, adults can do to sort of soothe that or better it or get a little more practice, even if they've, you know, because it's hard once they've grown up, but is there ways to?
Yeah, definitely. I think
that.
we're always, no matter what age we are, we're always still learning. And I think that when we start getting into the next topic of supported decision making, that's a really great resource, that because now you can pick people that can kind of support you and help you in ways that you need to be able to make decisions. So we're going to go into depth of a lot more into that topic, but I do think that that might be a way that, you know, like any adult, like myself, if I make a decision, any big decision, like I'm going to buy a house or I'm going to get a car, I don't just go and do it. I talk to other people and I get advice. They help me research. I go and test drive them. So there's all these different things we do. And so we all get support and we get help. And so I think no matter where you are and what stage you are with that, that's where supported decision making, especially because it is for adults, really comes in handy, because you could name specific people to help you with different areas of your life that you need help. And we'll go, like I said, more in detail of like what that looks like, who they can be and what they can support you with. But I think that's why that's really helps adults that maybe don't have all those decision-making skills really developed yet, or really haven't had opportunities to make a lot of decisions or have choices. That's where it can still be really handy to help as an adult.
Definitely.
And Alex, it's a great question. I'm glad that you asked it. And Crystal's going to get into this in a few minutes. But I think that the most important, as a parent of of two sons, one of whom is an adult now. I think that the most important thing that the adults can do for children to start teaching them these decision-making skills and these choice-making skills, as you mentioned, is to assume out of the gate that they can make those decisions. And again, Crystal's going to talk about this in a little bit, but I know that a lot of parents assume the opposite. They assume that their child cannot make a decision on their own. So they just automatically make it for them instead of giving them an opportunity to do it themselves. And I think parents are afraid that, you know, their kids will fail or that they're going to be hurt in some way. You know, their feelings are going to get hurt or they're going to be embarrassed. And of course, as parents, we never, ever want our kids to feel anything except joy and happiness. But having all of those emotions, it's part of being a human being, right? And making the wrong decisions sometimes is part of being a human being. And we all need to have the opportunity to fail sometimes.
And I think it's what you do after you fail. So like the learning and having the conversations about, okay, so you chose to do this, it went this way, you're not happy about it. What could have we done differently? What can we learn about this, learn from it? So then now we can apply that to the next time something that happens like that, you could make a different decision or a different choice. Like they're all teachable moments. We're all learning from our choices every single day that we make. So I think that's, you know, if you have someone that can help you learn from that and like talk things out, it's helpful.
Thank you so much. Those are all excellent points. Very logical. It's
You're welcome.
gets the gears turning. You know?
Thanks for the question, Alex.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna try to.
It says it's on it. That full screen is unavailable. Do you want to just tell them what this is about?
Okay, so this video, it's a very short video and it's not gonna let me put it in full screen. So if you can't see it well, just let me know. I know the slides will be available after, so if we're not able to watch it, you guys can watch it after. But it is basically a young gentleman that ends up learning about supported decision-making right prior the night before his parents are about to get guardianship for him. And so it's just a great little short story about that and really powerful. So let me see if it'll.
Where's the volume? Where's the volume?
It's not even giving me the option of it.
No.
Okay, so we'll skip it because I don't want to make us wait and
But it'll be available to you.
it will, so I
in our
apologize. I think what ends up happening in the video though, he's a young gentleman, he learns about supported decision-making and it's the night before his parents have the hearing scheduled to get guardianship for him. And he learns about supported decision-making. He's like, wait a second, I could do supported decision-making. Like maybe I don't need guardianship then if I can do this. And so he goes to his parents and he shares all the information about supported decision-making, says he wants to do it. They do a deep dive into it that night. And they're like, maybe you can do this. And they actually decide to not get guardianship over him. And he tries supported decision-making and is successful with it. And so it really changes that trajectory of, you know, what his parents thought for him and what he thought. So it's a great video. So hopefully we'll get to watch it after. So we're gonna get to the next topic. It's on supported decision-making, or as we like to use acronyms, it's SDM is the acronym. So supported decision-making was signed into law in July 2019. So is a legal, like if you have a formal, you practice it informally or formally, and formally, if you're practicing it, there's a draft SDM agreement that you can use, and there's links embedded in these slides. So when you guys get them after, you can check out the agreement. You can change the agreement to whatever you want, but it's kind of just like a template that you can use. But it's a legal document. So like you can take this and give it to doctors and give it to hospitals, you can give it to banks. Like, so you're legally saying that these people that you have chosen, as they call them, supporters, to help support you with certain decisions, that they can legally help you. And so just like some of these other things, alternatives, as we call them, so other things that you can use instead of guardianship, is power of attorney or POA, and you can have that over healthcare and or financial. And just like that's a legal document, so is supported decision making. And you can use it in combination with these things too. So other financial things that you can have with supported decision making or by itself is you can have dual bank accounts or an ABLE account, which is an account that allows adults with disabilities to have more than that 2,000 cap that
Yes.
is for Social Security income, SSI, and Social Security disability insurance, SSDI. So those have like limits of how much you can have monthly. ABLE account allows someone to save more money, or trust, special needs trust. And there's a ton of other ones too. But really, it just enables individuals to make your own decisions about your life and with the people that you've chosen, rather than having people make decisions for you. It promotes self-determination, independence, and it's an effective alternative to guardianship. So again, it's a way that people can do this instead of having guardianship. And you can also actually use it to get out of guardianship. If you can show that you can do supported decision making, you can actually petition to the court to get out of guardianship. And as I said, it can kind of range from informal, which so
I get that.
yeah, so informal would be like, so I always give the example, my father had Parkinson's and I practiced, yes, he did. And I practiced supported decision making with him because informally, and I would just present information to him in a way that he could understand it. I really lay out the choices. Ultimately, he made the decision, but I really helped him like really understand what those choices were, what were the decisions he needed to make. This is
Yes.
how I laid it out to you, this how I presented it to him in a way that he could understand it. So I practiced it informally, because he was not going to let me make decisions for him, but he really did need support at that time. He was not able to clearly understand everything the doctor said anymore and stuff, but he was still an older adult, and he was also full-blooded Italian. So I don't know if you know anybody that's full-blooded Italian, but they are not going to be told what to do. So it was a great way to be able to, be able to support him during that time, but still let him be independent in making his own decisions as much as he could. That's really the core of supported decision making. And then, as I said, formally, you can have this actual agreement that you can take to places, to doctors and people, and you can say like, nope, I am having these people be my supporters in these areas. And as I mentioned before, I just think we all get support from other people to make decisions. I didn't make any big life decision in my life without talking to other people. Even like I said, buying a car, getting a new job, anything. We talk to other people, we ask their opinions. What do you think about my resume? What about interview questions? Like, we all do it, so this is no different, and it's no different for people with disabilities to need other people.
It's simply decision making when it comes to like, merchandise or anything like that, like,
Yeah,
like any merchandise, like rings or watches, anything you wanna
Buy, yeah.
call it, or, or bracelets or shoes or clothes or all that.
we ask opinions from everybody
Absolutely.
when we're gonna buy stuff. Yeah, I think we totally do. So it's no different for this. Like, this is the same kind of concept. It's just like I said, kind of can be a legal form that you can have, so people have to respect what you're saying, that you want these people to help you with these decisions. They can have a seat at the table with you to help. But understanding that you're ultimately going to make the decision. So some of the thing that the supporters that you've chosen, you can have a team of supporters. They can help with different aspects. Typically it's around like financial, medical, healthcare, but it can
Yes,
be even more than that. It's all up to what you want people to help you with.
yeah,
But they can help you understand information, what your options are, what your responsibilities are. They can help you make pro and con lists. They
Right.
can, help, you can sign stuff that says that they can get your records for you and get that information for you. They can help you understand it. It's all about presenting in a way that they know that you're going to understand it. That maybe like a doctor talking to you, like, I don't know, half the time a doctor's talking to me, I feel like it's going over my head. But if somebody else could explain that to me in simpler terms, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's what they were asking. That's what this means. And also, they can help ensure that what your wishes were followed. So you can actually have someone if you've made a decision on a procedure, but you don't feel comfortable sharing that with the doctor, you can have them on your behalf share that. So
Right,
you've made the
exactly.
decision about it, but you can say, I'm gonna have this person relay what that decision was.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
So that's a lot of kind of what they can help with. And then because the list of supporters, you can have a ton of different people be supporters. So we actually found out it was easier to put who can't be a supporter because basically you can ask anybody but these few people. So you can't have a person who's your employer or employee unless that person is an immediate family member.
Yes,
You can't have a person who's directly provides services to you unless they're an immediate family member. And then the last one is a person, you can't have a person against whom you have a protective order or is illegally prohibited to contact you. So like say you have a restraining order against this person, you can't ask them to be your supporter.
exactly.
So that, and other than those three, you can have anybody be your supporter. So it's really wide open, and that's what makes that great too. You can have community people, community resources, you can have family, you can have friends, you can have, like I said, a gambit of people, and they can help with different areas.
And you need the, like I said, you need the right people as well.
Yeah.
And the right, advocate as well. Because like I said, like if you don't have the right advocate, it's like it's not getting you anywhere. It's
Yes,
not it'll make either the wrong decision or anything like that. I'll put you in a situation. It's like what happened, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Yeah, you want to choose people you trust that understand you, how you communicate, what your needs are,
yes,
how you take information in. Yeah, those are the kind of people you want to ask. And everyone has to agree. So if you do a supported decision-making agreement, not only the person, with the disability that is doing the agreement, the people that you've asked to be a supporter have to agree and sign it as well. And
Yes.
so, and you can make changes to it if you need to.
yeah,
The difference, kind of the biggest difference between the supported decision agreement and like a power of attorney is basically if you have a power of attorney of healthcare, that only comes into place if, say, I couldn't make a decision anymore. Say I, was in the hospital and I wasn't coherent enough or awake enough to be able to make a decision.
yeah.
If I had a if I had a power of attorney for healthcare, I've assigned somebody else to step in and make those decisions for me. Whereas supported decision making, I would still make the decisions and it's all the time. So it doesn't have to come into play only when I cannot make a decision. It's all the time. You're able to have these people help you with these decisions. And like I said, you can have both so that if something were to happen to you, you still have that extra safety net of having somebody help when you're not able to make decisions. So we wanted to kind of like talk a little bit about supported decision, like in action and how that works. So I'm gonna hand it over to Nick a little bit if you want to share a little bit about the pictures and about who you are, and then we'll go into some questions.
Sure. Yeah, obviously this is my picture of me, two pictures that I made for the slide right here, and it's me going to see a problem in that left picture right there.
Like the suit, yeah.
Yeah, that's me 6 years ago now, and
Wow.
almost 7 now. I was about 19 in that one. And then that one right there, me with the beard right there, that's me in the Longhorn actually restaurant.
Yeah.
Having actually going out to see, actually I was getting ready to go see a concert actually at the Performing Arts Center in Providence there.
Oh,
And great, I was actually going to see Jersey Boys actually for the first or second time, I believe. And that's actually one of the greatest artists I've actually seen in years I've listened to music.
cool.
And that one was about a couple of years ago, I think that picture was taken. And I was having, I think it was like white or red.
I think it's white wine.
Yeah.
We can't see it because of people blocking it. But I want to say it's white wine when I put it on there.
Yeah, I think it was white wine. It was actually about my first or second year of drinking, having a couple of drinking here and there.
Yeah.
It was actually one of the best ones I ever had. And you should try that Longhorn. It's
To try that. The middle picture, in case you don't know, that's just like the first page of the sample supported decision-making agreement, just so you can have an idea of like just how simple it is. And our resource page has links to that agreement and to anything that we mention in this video, to that video. During this presentation, but it has that video that we couldn't show and everything. So Nick, why did you choose supported decision-making?
Well, lots of reasons. One of them is because that first of all, you're free to make decisions on your own outside of home and even at home in yourself, even when it comes to like financial as well.
Yeah.
It is really helpful especially to this day. And number three is that you don't need to have someone coddle, and go like, oh yeah, do this. You know what I mean? Every 5 seconds, you know what I mean? And because if someone's hovering over you, it's like it makes you want to retire and say, hey, let me make my own decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like because because they're gonna they'll stop. They won't stop doing that. You know what I mean? And but
Yeah, you're an adult and you
and
want to
an
make your
adult.
decisions. That makes sense.
And especially walk freely without someone hovering over you all the time um and and especially living by yourself too, making that decision as well. I mean, I live by myself downstairs, but outside of home, it's thankfully it's easier now.
Yeah.
I always feel like that's the main thing is especially outside of home, when it comes to that, it's very handy, especially when it comes to supported decision making and when it comes to getting your license.
Yeah.
Usually people at my age there's not a lot of people that do get their list. Some people don't get the list till like 23.
Yeah, some people are waiting longer now, so
Yes.
you're able to make these decisions and have people help you. Do you have an actual formal supported decision-making agreement?
Yes, I do have it. I have it with my mom.
Awesome.
We made it about, like I said, 6 years now. Like I said, we've had it still for a good, almost 7 years. We've had made this decision. I turned my chapter. I turned my chapter. It's been going on 7 years now.
That's great.
Since I was 19. And that, like I said, that was a new law. Like I said, my mom thankfully sat me down and everything and
Explained it all.
explained, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, who are some of the supporters that you chose?
Oh, and my mom and even
Yep.
like my mom, my dad. That's my main supporters and everything like that.
Yeah, so what kind of things do your mom and dad support you with? Like financial, is there?
Financial, anything, like just anything outside, like in general, and even like my decision making when it comes to like clothing and everything like that. And they don't care what I wear. Like I can dress like that first photo, like a cowboy, like all day if I wanted. I like that kind of dress, honestly.
Nice.
And I like cowboy. That's going real well.
So do you have any other supporters that are listed in your plan?
Oh my God.
Your sister?
My sister, yes. I
Yeah.
think my sister is like the third or fourth one, I believe.
Do you remember what she helps you with?
My sister, advocacy,
Nice.
especially sticking up. That is a big thing with my sister. My sister would yell if she has to. Don't mess with my sister, because she'll yell if she has to. She'll yell like
She's a good advocate.
Oh yeah, she'll literally have to. She'll literally scream if she has to.
And so who else? Do you have any friends on there?
Like I have a buddy, like I said, he has autism too, but he's older than I am now.
Yeah.
He's almost 20 years old, and he has the same, a little similar thing to me. I mean, he lives in an apartment. He lives all the way in Barrington though.
Yeah.
Now, and he's living in Barrington since week 1.
Wow, that's awesome. What does he help you with?
He helps me. Let's see, make decision made where we're gonna go. Where we're
gonna go?
Where we're gonna go to.
Yeah.
Which lounge are we gonna go sit at?
What to do socially, that's fine.
Like I said, we grew up, with this lounge and everything like that, and like, okay, let's go have coffee at this place. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Do you guys like talk about like relationships or dating or anything too?
well, like I said, the main thing that ever since my friend got engaged, he got engaged last fall already.
Wow.
Almost 1 year, which is insane. And he like I said, he had to wait a few years.
Yeah.
Everything going, cuckoo, with everything out there.
Yeah, I understand you wanted to wait. Yeah, probably couldn't have as many people there when you
No,
with
absolutely
the
not.
pandemic. That makes sense.
Well, not just that, I'm talking about outside of all of that, but everything with financial especially.
Yes.
I think that's where that really comes in. But yeah, like I said, him and I talk about, like, oh yeah, like, oh, what do you do on this day? What kind of things do you wanna do outside of all of like,
Your things you have to do,
Yeah,
like
so-
work instead of,
well, not just, and like, well, for fun stuff like that's what I mean, like,
yeah,
I think that's the, key with him and I think that's when it comes really helpful in some ways too.
yeah,
Not all the time, but here and there, yes, but him and I will go like, yeah, we'll go like to Newport, we'll go to Brandon Point and Newport, yeah.
Awesome.
We went last summer, a couple times.
nice.
Sometimes we don't wanna get in the car, 'cause it's blazing hot,
Yeah, that
you
makes sense.
and you do not wanna sit out there 5 seconds in that 96-degree weather, it's not fun.
No,
And it's like you're boiling out there for not even 2 minutes.
so can you provide an example of a time when a supporter helped you and what that looks like?
Well, let's say, my sister, a couple times, yeah, my sisters wanted to kill some people, wanted to hurt them. And,
We love Mia, just
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Love
Mia,
her.
like I said,
Mia's his sister.
so I have a sister myself who's 21, who's already almost a nurse, but and
Awesome.
I'll tell you what, she'll stick up for anybody, and, yeah, you don't wanna get, if you
You don't
gotta,
wanna get on her bad side.
yeah, you gotta go through her, and if you're gonna do something, to bully someone,
Yeah,
Yeah, my
that
sis-
makes sense.
my sister will.
But I think you had mentioned about having, you had your gallbladder out in December,
Yes.
did something happen there and it
No.
kind of helped having like your
Well,
supporter?
I had the problem in November, but I took it out into December,
Yeah,
but I had to go to the ambulance 8 o'clock at night. Like I said, guys, don't, never eat fats with gallbladder issues, it actually does trigger it, and it does hurt, it actually loops out on your side, actually, the stone itself.
yeah,
And actually what it did to me, actually, it looped into my right side of my hip,
ooh,
and it looped right up, and sure enough, I'm in the ambulance 8 o'clock at night, going to Newport Hospital, and I'm going like this, what did I do with my life? And never eat anything salt with that, they say.
a lot of salt, yeah.
They say it triggers, and actually they say sugary too, actually, sugary foods actually, like candy, they
Yeah,
say
there's a lot of things that can trigger that.
they say it's terrible, and it will actually, even more than one time, if you're having this problem, they say you have to take L, or even actually this one was such a. I even didn't want to put this on social media, this thing if the wording would be too terrifying, it's like,
So I know mom shared that she brought your, she has healthcare, power of attorney, and she also, you have the supported decision making, so she brought both to the hospital.
yes, Yes, she
And then
did.
she explained what it was, the supported decision making, because it is still I mean, it's 2019, but some people still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the hospital was great. They,
yes. Newport
they
Hospital.
let her explain everything to you and in a way that you could understand it, so that you
Yes.
could make really informed decisions.
Yes.
And they also allowed her in the recovery room sooner because of
Yes.
having it, so that
Oh,
was,
yeah, and I
that was
think,
good.
like I said, please find, if you do go to the hospital, if you have if you are a parent, please, advocate for your kid, and for, when it comes to that stuff, especially when it's very, very serious like that. Like what I had, ask if you could be in the room, or if your son is comfortable with you in the room. Go to a hospital that allows that, cause I feel there's not a lot of hospitals that do allow that, and they'll make a big fuss.
Yeah,
Like, oh, he can make his own decisions like that, and
well, that's why you have the agreement and
No,
mom brought
yes.
it and they have to respect that.
oh, exactly, and
Okay.
I feel like there's not a lot of people that don't out there, they'll make a big fuss, like, oh, he has autism or something like that, like, in that kind
Yeah.
of tone, you know what I mean?
Do you have any advice to people that are thinking about supported decision making?
Yes, there's a lot. Please, when you, if you are gonna be a part of that plan, please be wise about it.
Yeah,
And, please be mindful, never second question, your son's decision making when it comes to that. Because like I said, it goes into an argument, and, they'll argue back and forth when, if you second question, they're like, oh, why is that? You know what I mean? Like, almost like second questioning someone in general.
Mhm.
Never make that mistake with anybody. I've seen it all my life. I've heard about families like that already.
Yeah.
And I already know actually a family already having that problem, and it's getting common these days, which is annoying in ways, and some ways it's understanding, because like I said, they don't understand supportive decision making in general.
Yeah, I think that's part of it is the awareness, definitely, and
And awareness is getting.
it's getting better, but we gotta get it out there more. And I think you also shared while you're talking, like sometimes you just need practice with stuff.
Yes.
So I mean, you're gonna need practice and how we were talking before about just, using those teachable moments of if you made a wrong decision and to learn from
Yes,
it. And that's how you learn is you practice and you talk about it and
Yeah, and I would invite it out there too, please have sit downs, with whatever, especially, and you gotta at least have a couple people, in certain occasions, or even, through, it depends on the occasion, like I said, sport, like I said, if you're in sports, that's a different story. Like I said, or if you're in Comcast, that's a different thing too, or a contract, that's a different kind of contract that you have to be a part of.
yes.
So I thought.
And I know you shared before too with us that for like youth, as like Bethany was saying, like start young with the
Yeah.
decisions in any way
Yes.
that you can. And parents, that way parents can trust that you can make decisions.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you start really young with building these skills, as we talked about, and that's why I think we talk about self-determination first, because those are the skills that you need to then put supported decision-making in action. So if you and it's never too late to build those skills, but the younger you can start, the better. And then that way too, you can build up that trust and build up the skills of decision-making.
Absolutely, and even my girlfriend, and she's going through, she has a supportive decision making as well outside of it.
Awesome.
And like I said, we always help out, and sometimes I always help her out myself, because especially outside of home, because like especially when it comes to like comfort, you know what I mean, what you're comfortable doing, what you're not, because I always like to advocate, especially when it comes to like her work, they want some business, they want crazy hours,
Yeah.
and that she's not comfortable doing.
Yeah, so you can be able to advocate and say that, yeah. And a supporter can help, like your sister supports you with the advocacy and stands up for you and you need it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you care if we ask if anybody has any questions for you?
I'm sure, yes, go right ahead.
Anybody have any questions for Nick about his agreement or about, supported decision making? Feel free to come off
Anybody going on once or
mute
twice?
or I know Taylor's watching the chat, but
Anybody got a question? Wanna go on twice, once?
once, twice, nothing. Oh, that was really good. No, I think it was perfect.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, you shared a lot of great examples. And all right, so these are our resources. And again, I think you guys are going to get all copies of the PowerPoints and they're also going to put it on the website, the recording.
Yeah, everything goes on the website.
With the slides.
Yeah.
So our resources, we have like our general website. We have some self-determination ones. We have the stories. This link has that video that we couldn't share. And then we also have these links. The local one will give you the supported decision-making agreement, but also some other resources. And then I know we did talk about the ABLE account, so I did a link to that. And then I just wanted to mention that the Charlotte Center has some new networks. So we run a self-directed supports network that's been going on for a long time. Self-directed is one of the services that you can get if you're getting services through behavioral health care, developmental disabilities in hospitals, or BHDH.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're going to have some new networks. We're going to have a parent network for any adult with a disability. We're going to have a sibling network of adult with disability, and we're going to have a self-advocate. So anybody that would relate themselves as a self-advocate as an adult with a disability. And then lastly, we shared this link that we had developed these Medicaid impact stories, just because with everything that's going on right now and the possible cuts to Medicaid. We really wanted to be able to share with people the way that people are using Medicaid and getting these services that are really important to them and crucial to have. So we have like a one pager and a link on our website for some stories that we got. So, and if anyone ever wants to share any stories about how Medicaid and these services are benefiting you, please reach out to us. We'd love to add to it. It's like we said, we just think it's really important for everyone to know so they don't make these major cuts to Medicaid and these services.
That's it. When it comes to like Medicare, I always say, especially living by yourself, be very careful. The amount of the weight, especially like eating. I've always been very advocate about what I eat. Because I cut down the last few years.
Yeah, you need to watch it and you watch what you eat, stay healthy.
You know, you have to stay active as well, because if, like I said, it'll you know, like I said, everything starts to change if you don't do anything about it. And,
Yeah, and the older you get, the harder it gets.
yes, absolutely, and especially physically, especially.
Yes.
I always see, you know, I've always been advocate about my physical self, especially outside of home.
Yeah.
And even I don't go after 7 o'clock at night. You know, that's one thing. That's another skill I learned. You know, not to eat after 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because like I
It's a good
said,
skill.
because like I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna have this in like 5 seconds of eating, because like, you know, I believe, you know, you can blow it up like that. You know, people can get unhealthy like that. You know, high blood sugar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it snowballs, definitely. So our last page has all of our contacts, so feel free. I know we had mentioned, Alex, if you wanted to reach out to us after this is our contacts. If you want to take it down, we'd be happy to connect. If anyone has any questions, comments, we'd love to hear it. And just thank you guys all for joining. We really appreciate it.
Any questions going on, one?
Alex has a question.
Yes, you. How about you, sir?
What about I think it's interesting is the concept of the discerning ear. Before you, obviously, it's actually for Nick, question kind of for you is, before you were in this world, did you struggle with, before you
Let's just say I struggle with talking.
before you were in this, you sought help from this agency. Did you were you able to, did you have any difficulty in the discerning ear, being able to tell what advice and who it was from, check the facts, sort of see
It
if people
depends.
know what the heck they're talking about? Who
Do you
get
remember where
advice
you
from,
first learned
know?
about supported decision making? Was it your mom?
Yes, it was my mom for sure, and like I said, it depends on the person who's asking. At the time that, like I said, before I had a hard time advocating for myself. It was before I got to this age, but it was when I was like really little.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like born up to like I started talking at 7 years old.
Wow.
And then I start getting my I didn't start getting to adulthood until, actually I got to my adulthood actually kind of early in my life. I actually didn't start to feel like that until about 17.
17, yeah.
Until I started feeling and started to advocate a little differently.
Yeah, so you learned from your mom about supported decision making.
Yes.
And then she told you about it, you kind of learned more about it, and then you chose who you wanted your supporters to be and stuff, and what areas they were going to help you with.
That's correct.
But there's tons of resources on supported decision making and to learn more about it. There is also a supported decision making coalition that Anne's actually on. So Bethany and myself, and it's and anyone's welcome to ever join.
Yes.
And a big part of what we try to do in the coalition is just spread more word about it, and also help people if they need help with learning, doing the agreement, developing one, getting connected to figure out who could your supporters be. That's the whole point of the coalition. So.
And honestly, make sure you get your supporters decision wisely.
Yes.
Because one wrong decision like that, especially when it comes to the person helping you.
You want to choose the right people to help you, and you should trust them. They should know you. Like we said, they should know like how you retain information, what's the best way to present it to you. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges is just figuring out who you like. Do you have people in your circle and your team that could help you with
And
that?
I think that goes to the heart of Alex's question. You know, Alex, I always tell my son that when you're getting advice from people in helping you make a decision or any other kind of advice, the most important thing is to ask yourself, the person that you're talking to, do they have your best interests
Yes.
in mind?
Yes.
Are they invested in your safety and in your happiness? Those are the people that you trust with these types
Yeah.
of pieces of advice.
Absolutely, brother.
And also, you know, sorry to interrupt, but kind of like making sure that they check the facts, because if someone's,
Yes.
fortunately,
Yeah,
it's never
and
happened to me,
with
but if
facts
someone's
when it
telling
comes
me
to
that ice
stuff.
cream is good for me, then I know that it's garbage. It's not good advice.
Definitely,
No,
definitely.
exactly, because
That's
like,
just a little
Yes.
and
example.
honestly, you need the right advice, because if you get the wrong advice, it's like what are you taking? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get that kind of wrong information or something
If
like
it becomes
that.
destructive, the wrong advice, it could
Yeah, so
bad
Yes.
things.
and you can change your supporters too, but yeah, I think a lot of the work is doing that front work of figuring out who those people are that you want to provide
Yeah.
that support and advice to you. And you can, like I said, say what ways that they provide it. Like if you're someone that wants, you know, I want the research of what's good about this and what's bad about it, and you to present that to me in a way that I get it, you know, that's what you can say, like that's how you need it presented to you. Like I'm a pro con list type of person, so you know, everyone's different how they like stuff presented to them. But you can change them too if it's not working out with the supporter, or you think like, I'm
Yes,
not happy with
exactly.
this person.
Right,
You can
and,
go
know,
back to
it's
the
like-
table and fix that agreement and take them off and pick someone else, or, you know, that's what's nice about it.
And another thing, you have to make sure, if you do choose the group, you have to make sure that they have not been in trouble. That's my biggest thing. I hate for someone to run into someone who's gonna help, who's already been in trouble, but not just outside of home.
Yeah,
Who's been in trouble with the law, who's been in trouble with this kind of, or this group's been in trouble.
good
already.
advice. Yeah, you don't want people that are, you know, maybe been
Yeah.
criminals and
Yes.
they're helping you make decisions
Yeah.
around financial things.
Yes. Because
Very true.
Or any decision for that matter. You don't want
Yes,
criminals
any
making
decision,
for you.
yes, yeah, true. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is trying to figure out who those people are and then, you know,
or what life they lived before and.
yeah.
Are there background checks? Like, do they check everything before they background checks probably are mandatory everywhere, but you can probably check it out and sort of.
So
look
yeah,
at
you
who they are.
could choose to do that. You could ask people to get background checks and stuff before.
But
they
that's
become supported, but
not
it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement of a supported decision making
But it is an
agreement.
option.
No,
you know.
definitely.
Absolutely, it's an option
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
the
I think the
individual
option should
who's
definitely be
choosing
up,
their
yeah.
supporters, yes.
Yeah, because they're not, I think why it's not a requirement as opposed to say someone's gonna be a support staff, a direct support staff DSP, they're working directly with you, they're providing a service. That's required to have background check, where this is you're asking them to support you in decisions. And so yeah, you can require anything from them, but it's not required on the form. But as the form does say, they can't have any legal reason, like a restraining order or some
Yes.
kind of legal thing that they're not supposed to help you.
Exactly, they can't have any restraining orders or anything like that, because if they have a restraining order, that's no bueno, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know with the law, they didn't want to get too specific because they also didn't want to make it difficult for people to do it. But yeah, you can require whatever you want of your supporters. That's your choice as the
Right.
person that's gonna have the agreement.
Exactly.
Information.
Any other questions? I know we're getting close to time.
Any questions going on once or twice? Anybody?
We appreciate it. Thank you guys all for choosing this presentation. We hope you enjoyed it and we definitely had a good time. getting
Yes,
this good
absolutely.
information.
And like I said, if you're getting a car with somebody, make sure they're safe and make sure they're not flying.
Yeah.
It's the train factory.
Yeah, you want someone that's gonna drive good.
Make
That's
sure they're
right.
not playing on their phone while they're driving you around.
Yes,
Because sometimes they'll be driving with two hands and so oblivious what's on the road.
They're on
Yeah.
Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Very true, see? It's
Well,
true.
thanks everyone for joining us.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you, ladies.
guys have a
Thank
good
you,
rest of
Nick.
your
You did a
conference.
great
I was
job.
happy to record
Have
it,
a great
too.
day.
Thank you.
Visit our website to download the slides that were shared during this presentation. and additional resources about this important topic. While you're there, we hope you'll also enjoy the other workshop sessions and videos from this year's conference. www.advocatesinaction.org/2025 SACONF.
Produced by Advocates in Action Rhode Island 2025. Nothing about us without us.